And we're back with another Sports Buffet Week 3. So you know it's a new week when I've got my new fitted hat on. Quiet Giant, Matt is back for Week 3. We were just saying before we came on air that it's dry, man. It's a dry season for sports right now. And I sort of, I used to get mad at, the sports anchors when I would watch ESPN and, they'd just be doing highlights of, all this weird stuff and, they'd just be killing time, and I'd be like, come on, man, find something. But, it's really a dead time, and, there's not much going on. So, when you actually have a sports podcast and you're trying to find topics to talk about, and, if you listen to a certain sports podcast and they keep your interest and they keep you occupied, they're doing a good job. Because it's I was scrolling through Twitter, I was watching sports, Sports Center and all this stuff. It's hard to find shit, man.
Could you imagine a sports podcast right now trying to put out, more than 2 episodes a week, though? That's really tough, because some of them probably do, but it's insane.
It's impossible, and that's why you sort of laugh at these guys like Skip Bayless and who's the other guy, Woody Page, or all these just hacks like Jason Whitlock and all these bozos, but they've got to be on air for practically the whole day, just talking about nonsense. So whether it's LeBron's hairline or Space Jam 2 or Taco Tuesday and all this weird shit, they gotta fill time. So they love when LeBron posts a Taco Tuesday video.
Yeah, they're on 5 days a week, and so when you see the same argument over and over again, I kind of get it now. I get it.
It's yeah, I give them a lot of credit. So before we got on air, I had a little dinner. I was having hamburgers, so I'm running off a little hamburger adrenaline right now, which made me think about some of the venues that I've been to, whether it's basketball, football. I've been to soccer in Prague and had some weird pierogi type of shit. I don't know what it was, but it made me start thinking about some sports venue foods that were just epic. And I know now's about now's not the time, but you'll see in the baseball off season during spring training, some of these food venues trying out this weird helmet bowl of nachos with the craziest shit on top of it. It's a nacho bowl with ice cream sundae in the middle of it, and you're just oh, that looks amazing. We're pretty spoiled being from New York that chefs are pretty good. Citi Fields is up there. They've got the Shake Shack in center field. Are there any epic, crazy meals you've had at any sports venues that, stand out in your mind?
I had some really good nachos at the Washington Nationals Park.
Really? Shout out to the Nationals.
Gourmet nachos. It was good. But other than that, and I might get a lot of hate for this, but I keep it pretty bougie usually. I'll order sushi at Citi Field.
Oh, come on, man.
I swear to God, that I do sushi, and then I'll do, the wine-to-go cups instead of a beer. Yeah. And it's I don't know who I've become, but that's what I do now.
I didn't expect that from you. I expected, the $14, diesel cup, souvenir cup of beer. So wine out of the... Does it taste any different, the wine in those, classes things? You know that was a Shark Tank invention, right?
Yeah. So that actually led me onto it a little bit.
Oh, for real?
These are good. And they are pretty good. What I like now is they have the spritzers. So it's pretty much essentially what White Claw is. Or whatever. But stadiums have had that forever. A wine spritzer. I remember I got that at a Mets game 3 years ago. But
do you think the Met, I'm trying to think of any, so I've been to Cincinnati. I'm trying to think of, obscure places for, a New Yorker. So for a New Yorker, anywhere outside of New York is just weird to us. I think of Cincinnati Reds, and I just envision, just beer and just, hot dogs, just typical baseball shit. Not like New York, where it's probably got, we have sushi. We've got Shake Shack with, banging burgers in center field. They've got all the different craft beers at that middle thing. So when I started thinking about Cincinnati or Cleveland, and I've never been to Cleveland Stadium, but I don't picture them having all this crazy fancy chef, exploratory meals and all this stuff. But they do, and I've never given it the proper chance, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think if they do it their own way and kind of, I know it's in Texas, they have like huge portions, I believe. Like, I think their hot dog is like literally a foot long.
Yeah. Well, Chicago, Wrigley, they have like the Chicago dog, which is a staple for Chicago, and they put like the pickles and the peppers and all that stuff on it. So it's cool that like they bring a little authentic Chicago to their stadium. Like Yankee Stadium, Shea City Field should have like New York slices of pizza.
They don't though.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like I went to Astros game and they had like there's this spot called it's a chicken spot called Pluckers, and it was like they had one inside the stadium, and the line was like humongous, but it was like authentic Houston like banging fried chicken.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to go. And like if people could leave comments about like what their local sports team and like what their
go-to is.
Stand food. Yeah, what their go-to is.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't really know. I do know that like I remember the Mets. I think they have it still. It's in right field, but it's like called a Taste of New York Market.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like borderline New York stuff, but still no pizza.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like a little corner market that no one goes in really.
It's cool when it's authentic to like that region. So going back to the Astros, they have this specialty beer, and I wish I remembered the name of it, but it's like in a can, and it's got the old school Astros like logo on it. You know, the orange with the blue and like the big star. Yeah. So like that beer is authentic to that stadium. And I know like Yankee Stadium and a lot of other places do this, but Yankee Stadium has like this big ass bucket, and it's got like an endless amount of chicken tenders in it and fries. And literally, like my boy got it one time with his girlfriend at the time, and she just kept putting her hand in the bucket, and I was almost just like, how many fucking chicken tenders are in that bucket? And they were like, it says like 6, but there must have been like 600, because like from the first inning till like the 8th inning, she had the bucket in front of her, and there was either some fries in it, or I would keep asking her. I'll be like, yo, do you mind if I have like a piece of chicken? And I must have had like 16 pieces of chicken. It was ridiculous how much chicken was in this like bucket.
I forgot about that. I got that once when I went to Yankee Stadium.
It's unreal how much chicken and fries are in that bucket.
Yeah, it's like $24, but it's worth it.
No, that is like the one thing that like I even said to her. I was like, that's like the most amazing buy ever, because it's just endless. Like you've had this the whole game. She was like giving chicken away to people sitting in other sections and shit like that. It was incredible.
Throwing chicken legs everywhere.
Yeah, she was like, she was the vendor. She was walking up and down the aisle like selling it. I know one of my boys, he tries to, I mean, every stadium he goes to, and this is something I should have done because I've been to a lot of stadiums, but like he tries to get a souvenir from every stadium, and he buys the nachos in the helmets, and that's like his souvenir is the nachos in the helmet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess teams do that now. I was always used to the sundae in the helmet.
The sundae in the helmet is the staple. Yeah.
Yeah, that's classic. So I guess it's like the same thing.
It is.
One salty or sweet.
Yeah. And the nacho one is like a bigger helmet. It's like one you could put on your head. What are your thoughts on?
Oh, all right, that makes sense.
What are your thoughts on? You're staying after the game. You know, everyone's clearing out. You're looking at the seats, and you see one of those helmets. Are you approving? You putting the mad approval on it to take one of those helmets, wash it out, and keep it as a souvenir?
No.
No, you're not?
No.
Oh, I'm against you on that one, man. I'm all about like I've picked up some nasty nacho helmets, some nasty ice cream sundae helmets, rinsed them out, and I think they're still in my cabinets downstairs. I definitely have one from a Marlins game.
That's like, you could literally go into the team store nearby and just get one if you want one.
For
it's clean.
$17, you can get one, like a mid-sized helmet.
There's some things that are just, kind of priceless, and like hygiene is one of them.
I've seen people go around and collect like the souvenir cups, and start probably like a house collection of those things.
See, that's gross though, because they're probably using those cups when they get home too.
100%.
Mouth on that they don't know. I don't like stuff like that. Like,
no, those are a little grimy because those are like plasticky too. Like the helmet is one thing. If you have some helmet collection, but like you're not going to be putting ice cream in that helmet and using it again. Like that's going to be a shelf item. Those cups, like those are going to hit gameplay. Like those are going to be in your rotation of like orange juice and all this stuff.
Yeah, you can't use souvenir cups that are just getting kicked around, fumbled with fingers all over it. There's no dishwasher that can clean that.
No, that's true. I even get weary about like using silverware in my house. Like I'll put the silverware just up to my mouth and not put my whole mouth on the silverware just because I get eerie about like someone else's the whole mouth being on this fork or spoon.
I've never thought about that, but now I'm gonna change the way I've eaten forever, I guess.
Staying on food, I got two more things I want to ask you about food. Then we're going to get into a couple questions that we got asked last week. So shout out to those two people, which I'll name in a second. Cotton candy at a sporting event, overrated or underrated?
Yo, I hate cotton candy.
I agree with you.
It's so gross. I hate when kids eat it. I just hate it. Like, it's just gross. Like, you don't need all that stickiness on you. I don't. At any age, there was no point that I really liked cotton candy. Like, yeah, I got it, but I just was conscious of myself the whole time, just having sticky fingers.
I'm not so much concerned about the stickiness. I'm more mad that you eat it and then it just like dissolves. Like it's like there's nothing there. You know, like there's no substance to it. It just like goes away.
You paid for air, sweet air.
Exactly, and that's what I'm mad about. Is like it's like one of the world's biggest secrets that like we lie to kids about. It's like buy this cotton candy for $8 and it's gonna change your life, but you're eating it and it just like dissolves in your mouth and it's there's no like enjoyment.
I love it because over this last year, the Mets broadcaster Keith Hernandez, they show kids like eating cotton candy, and he's like, never liked it as a kid.
Okay,
it's
good.
Overrated snack. Like, and he just makes little comments like that, and he's done that all season long.
Good.
It's like, oh God, you're gonna be so gross after that.
There's some
like,
things.
Hey, move on quick.
There's some things that like it's forbidden to say that like you're not a fan of it or something. You know, like I was never a fan of Friends. I'll be the first person to say that shit. Cotton candy is one of those things, and almost I'm not gonna shit on Cracker Jacks too much, but like the popcorn part of the Cracker Jack, like the caramelly thing, are banging. But then that the nut part, what is that? Jack? So crackers like the crunchy popcorn part, and then Jack's that nasty like red little nut inside of it.
Yeah.
That shit is disgusting. Like they could
like
make the bag with that. Yeah, like don't put that in the Cracker Jacks.
Then it would just be that popcorn that you get at Christmas, though.
Yeah, I know, and I'm fine with that. Like, what is Cracker Jack trying to be? Are they trying to be like, are they gearing it towards kids, or are they trying to go towards like old ass 90-year-old men? Because you're putting a prize in that shit. So if like a 90-year-old guy is buying Cracker Jacks for the prize, something shady's going on. And if you're gearing it towards the kids because you put the prize in there, then take that nasty pecan shit out of it because nobody wants to eat that.
I never really liked Cracker Jacks too much, but I feel like I had them a lot at games because they were always like the cheapest snack. My dad was like, "Here, have some crackers."
Yeah, like that and peanuts. Like, I mean, I know it's a staple. Like, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, but like, can we change that song to like, buy me some like peanut butter M&Ms and like Twix bar or some shit like that, or like
rolls off the tongue too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's make a remix to that song because no one. Like peanuts, it probably sucks for the vendors after the game to clean that up because like the mess is just ridiculous. And then Cracker Jacks, they're just caught in between. It's not for kids, it's not for adults, and the prizes are whack now. So like either up your prizes, get rid of the pecans, but like you need some remodeling, like get with the times. Sorry, that's my rant on.
They always suck. They're always like either stickers or fake stamps that you actually couldn't even use on a letter.
Yeah, and it's like some baseball like it wasn't even like who's the famous baseball player that like the card goes for like $1 million like the first. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Honus Wagner.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. It's not like you ever got that guy. You got like his teammate who like no one ever heard about, and it's like some old guy in like a Pittsburgh Pirates uniform. And you're like, okay, great. I don't know who this guy is.
I think they even stopped with like baseball prizes relatively quick. Like it's just like a sticker of like a cartoon character or something. I don't think it's like very baseball related. And like those cards were mini cards too. They weren't like
it was trash, and you had to peel both sides of them, and it was like very complicated and like.
And it was covered. Your prize was covered in that sticky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's like
get over that. I never liked stuff like that. It was just gross.
But people would like. It's almost like when they put the prize in the cereal box. It's like you got to reach through that whole bag. Like, you know why we're opening the bag is because we want the prize. So it's not like you eat the whole bag and then you get to the prize. You're reaching for that prize early. So all of a sudden, your hand is all over like the popcorn. You know, it's like, it's not sanitary, Cracker Jacks and putting prizes in cereal and stuff like that.
Now that I think about it, like, I was a really practical kid because even the cereal boxes, I would like shake it around, you know, try to see if it could come to the top. If not, I kind of waited because I knew like people were gonna eat that food, the cereal.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they didn't want my hand in it.
And you can't sacrifice like going through 8-9 bowls of cereal when you got brothers and sisters and all this stuff, because if they get the prize, it's a wrap. You're not like, they're not gonna come to you and be like, oh hey, I know you bought the cereal. Here's your prize. It's over. Like, that prize is theirs now. They poured the bowl with the prize in it.
True. That's what, I guess that would make it, like, a little more, like, of a wanted prize, even if it was shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, that was me with the rip-off machines. Like, I could go to the dollar store and buy, like, this stupid little monkey for, like, 50 cents. But the fact that, like, I have to pay $1 and this claw might get it, you know, makes me want that prize a little bit more. It's the same thing with the Frosted Flakes or whatever. You want that prize at the bottom just because, like, you don't know when it's going to pour out. So, like, you're dumping out the whole bag of cereal before you even, you know, open up the box.
Those claw machines were fucking rigged. Always.
I don't know, man. I've got a good track record.
You're good at that?
Yeah, I'm low key very good at that. Like, we could do when next time I'm in New York, we'll do a live sports buffet from like an arcade or some shit like that. And yeah, I'll show you how it's done. There's a science to it. I'll tell you one hint about this is everyone listening. If you got kids, if you don't have kids, if you want to pick up a hobby, the claw machine.
Don't pick up the claw machine hobby.
The key, first off, don't go to the ones that are $1 for one play, because that is just automatic ripoff. You're going to lose all your money. Even though it's addicting, I've been there. You go down a dark hole, you spend like $15, $20 just because you want like this little like Hey Arnold doll or something like that. Sometimes it's worth it. Go for it. You know, spend a little bit of money. Your best bet is like I don't think they do 4 plays for $1, but like 2 plays for $1 is good, because at least, you know, that first one you could feel out the, you know, the measurements of where that claw is going to drop. But the biggest key, and this is the only secret I'll give about claw machines, make sure you're going for a prize that's close to the box. Once you start veering out towards like the other side of the machine, you're in the danger zone. Because when the claw drops, and if you do get a good grasp on it, you have to travel all the way back with that thing rattling and moving, and potentially that thing dropping into, you know, back into the field of play.
That's probably like where my mistake was when I used to do it. But I went to Atlantic City on the boardwalk about a month and a half ago. I saw a kid doing this. It was just basketballs, like those teeny mini basketballs.
It's tough.
And it's like, all right, he had it, and it literally, I felt so bad for this kid. He walked it that slow over to it, and the thing just like stopped and just dropped it right before the hole. I was like, that's rigged. Like, that kid had it.
That sounds rigged. That's like some carnival. You know the rumors about the carnival basketball shot, right? Where like the rim is supposed to be, you know, is supposedly pushed. You know, it's not really fitting of the ball. It has to be like a perfect hit off the backboard in there for it to fit.
Yeah, because the rims are like, they're double rims.
Well, they're double rims, and also they like bend them a little bit so the ball doesn't perfectly fit it. Like, it perfectly fits in there at the right angle. It's like similar with those ring tosses. Like, it has to be, you can't throw it directly at it. It's got to like bounce and somehow hit it at the perfect angle. It's like watching this stupid new show that LeBron James just produced called The Wall. Have you seen that?
No.
It's like, you know Plinko from The Price is Right?
Nope.
God damn it, man. It's this big like, Plinko is a game in Price is Right where the board is like in front of you and you place a chip down and there's all these little blockers and it like, you know. And the wall is just a huge version of that, and there's like a ball that drops down and it goes into like these money pits. I don't know. Oh, that's like the ring toss thing. It's like you have no control over where it's gonna go, you know?
Yeah, once you let it go, that's like...
Yeah, once you, like, no one knows where they're throwing those little ring toss things. It's just a matter of like, if it bounces off the right thing, you're going to get it on like the red bucket over the blue one or whatever. All right. Sorry, sidetracked. So cotton candy. We're out on cotton candy.
Yeah.
Last food thing I want to ask, and we're 25 minutes in. We haven't even got to the questions yet. Hot chocolate on a cold day at a baseball stadium. Are you spending the $6-7 to get a watered down cup of hot chocolate to stay warm?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and
I
I
have
picked
too.
that over a beer too, or like any other beverage, especially when it's cold, like playoff baseball. Gotta do it.
Yeah, that's I would say if there was a survey done by like baseball stadiums, football stadiums, the number one money maker for the stadium is got to be hot chocolate on a cold day, because all they do is just put in hot, like watered down, like nasty water with a drop of like that hot chocolate sprinkle in there, and it's just because it's hot, you're spending the money to hold on to the cup.
Well, that and yeah. So if you combine, I think you're right on that. If you combine hot chocolate with coffee, because a lot of older guys like the coffee at like 7:00 at night for a start.
I don't know about do people buy coffee at a game too?
I would.
Uh-huh.
I would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like if you're not drinking, it almost like, I don't know, give me a little sober buzz.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. So coffee. I've always seen hot chocolate, and I know that every time it's a cold game and there's a vendor coming around with hot chocolate, he's got like one or two left on his tray, and that guy's definitely having a good night.
Yeah, I mean, the last cold game I went to was Mets playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It was freezing, and I just told my friend, I was like, I can't drink like tonight. I just can't. I can't do it.
Nope.
I can't have one. And we just went over to Dunkin'. They had a little Dunkin' stand over there, and had to get hot
Make
chocolate.
a killing. And the same thing on Dippin' Dots on a hot day. Like those vending machines, those vendors, just slaying the game. All right.
We'll move on after this, but Dippin' Dots is like the cotton candy of ice cream. It just evaporates in your mouth.
So down on Dippin' Dots. I don't think they should be a company. I think it's the worst type of ice cream ever. Like those little, it just feels weird saying it, but those little balls is just not like, it's not enjoyable. My wife Molly loves Dippin' Dots. I don't get it. Like when I'm scooping into ice cream, and I'm an ice cream connoisseur. I worked at an ice cream store for a long time, but I don't know about you. I need like a big scoop. I can't have like you're right. It's the same thing as cotton candy. It's just fake ice cream. It's not ice cream.
It's ice cream for astronauts. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Trash.
It's garbage. If you're selling your ice cream in like a vending machine in like a little like yogurt pouch tube, no, it's not for me. I'm out on that. Dippin' Dots, go away. Okay, here we go. Shout out to, I think I wrote it down, Rodriguez09999. He was approving your Mets commentary, and first of all, if you asked a question, there's two people here, Rodriguez09999 and the homie Need More Zen. Shout out. He's been a supporter of Corn's World for a while. He went MIA a little bit, but now he's back, I think. So he asked a question. So if you two guys are comfortable, DM me on Twitter your address. I'll send you guys a little tchotchke, a little prize or something that I have from my collection. As a thank you for sending the questions, because you guys are our initial question askers, the trendsetters. So let's get to Rodrigo0999's question. He asked you, and maybe you know this a little better than I do, NL, AL, MVP front runners, I guess, right now. And I haven't been following baseball too much, but is it too early to tell? Do you have anybody that stands out in your mind, NL, AL?
Yeah, I mean, for NL, right now it's between Cody Bellinger and Christian Yelich.
Yep.
And very similar numbers. But I think Bellinger just takes it. Dodgers are going to be in the playoffs. He plays first base and outfield for a team that's going to be a contender.
Yeah. He's young too, right?
What's up?
He's young also, right?
Yeah, he's real young. He's real young. Like, I think it's only second, third year in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and his like the sabermetric stats are way better than Yelich's. Like the OPS, the WAR, which is like really big now in baseball too. So obviously that's gonna get like a ton of votes with the writers now. But I don't. Right now it's between them, and it's just Bellinger is definitely a couple steps ahead.
And Yelich, is he the one who won it last year?
Yelich, I think he did.
He's on the Brewers, right?
Yeah, he's on the Brewers.
Yeah, I think he won last year's MVP as well, which is.
I should know that.
I'm pretty sure he did. But do you think there's anything that factors into it in an MVP vote? And I don't know if this is biased or not, but like the fact that Bellinger plays in LA versus like the Milwaukee market, like, and this could sway towards Yelich as winning it maybe a little bit more because like Brewers games probably regular season sell out more than the Dodgers game, and I don't have facts behind that, but like it's probably more popping in Milwaukee than it is in LA for a regular season game.
Yeah, well, there's less to do as opposed to LA, so that would make sense.
100%.
Yelich did win it last year.
Yeah.
So, but I think right now it really is very dependent on who's winning and who's not. So it would be interesting. I think if they still had the same exact record, the Brewers and the Dodgers, they had the same exact record at this moment right now, I still think it's Bellinger because he is killing in the sabermetrics categories, like even extra base hits. I believe he's ahead on that. OPS plus slugging, stuff like that. A lot of people really look at as opposed to just batting average now.
Yeah, I mean and I don't know much about either guy. I mean, I obviously know the players. I've seen some interesting Bellinger highlights. There was actually one that was pretty interesting. I think it was against the Diamondbacks, I want to say, and the pitcher like struck out someone on the Dodgers and was like beating his chest and like pointing at them and like just wilding out. And like you see the guy on the Dodgers like look back at him like, really? You're gonna do that? And then they were playing in LA, and the same pitcher came in and gave up like a game-winning home run to Bellinger, and very subtly just rounded the bases, but like gave him a look back, like, yo, that was for my boy. Like, and it was sort of gangster. Like, so I see a lot of highlights of Bellinger just like cranking home runs. Occasionally he'll just like rob somebody at the wall. So like I haven't seen as much from Yelich, but I don't know if maybe that's just because like LA, Milwaukee market, but I feel like the MLB shows Milwaukee a good amount of love.
Absolutely, and I think Yelich in April and May, he was getting shown on ESPN nonstop. His superstardom, like he's a full-blown superstar now.
Yeah.
And he said, I think he's been on a few podcasts before, and he said that like this year has been crazy in terms of like, because he literally was hitting like a home run a game in April.
I remember that. Yeah, I actually do remember that.
Yeah, he was on a tear the first month of the season, and he said he would be going into these cities in May and June, and he'd be like, holy shit, there he is. And like that never happened to him before.
Yeah, he's on that Braun juice.
Yep. Ronnie Braun.
I'm still not a fan of was it Ryan Braun?
Yeah.
Guy tried to get the just drug test guy fired for botching his test or whatever like that. Just seems like a real scumbag move. But I don't know. I'm torn on the whole. People who vote for the MVP have a really tough vote because there's so many factors that come into play. Like I was just mentioned, like Milwaukee versus LA. Does LA have a better team? So when Bellinger comes up to bat, is like the momentum more in his favor? Is there a guy on base? Like is the pitcher, does he have a better pitching staff? So like that motivates his team. Like whereas Yelich, they might not be doing as well as the Dodgers, but like he's still performing. When it's 2 outs and like he's got to get a base hit or hit a home run or something like that. So it's like I'd be interesting to really talk to a guy who has a vote and see what goes through their mind, because it's just interesting. Are they biased towards for whatever reason? It's the same thing with the NBA. Is like, does someone not want to vote for Harden because they feel like he's taking every single shot, but like they're winning games? Like. These guys have to think about a lot of things, so like all that comes into play when they're voting for Hall of Fame or whatever, But I think, certain biases they have, to a player, it could help Yelich or whatever that he won last year, or maybe it could hurt him because they wanted to give it to somebody else, And
we've seen that in all sports forever, really. When you think about it, like, what was it? I don't know what year it was.
Mm-hmm.
I could be way off. 2007 with NBA with Steve Nash over Kobe that one year, and it's like they just wanted to give it to Nash because Kobe, I think, had won it the year before.
Yeah, I'm so skeptical of like conspiracies, and like I thought, and this is a side note, but like in going off track a little bit, but like I thought Trae Young should have won Rookie of the Year, but Luka won it. And my whole mindset is like the NBA wants him to win so they can get like the European, Spain market and like all this, bigger things than if just, like Trae Young won. It's almost like the Oscars don't like, or the Grammys don't like giving out these Grammy Awards to like these one-time, songwriters, because it's just like, oh, we're going to give a Grammy away, something that's so exclusive to this person who just made one hit song, like we need some longevity. We need something like with some sustainability that we can like get our return of investment on it, There's
definitely overthinking in it.
100%.
In all voting, and that's good. Like, yeah, even in non-sports categories like Grammys and stuff, like I feel like obviously I don't know who would or should win stuff like that, but there's got to be just overthinking, and at the end of the day, like the voters are humans and like they're gonna have bias.
100%. And that's why it makes me think, like, knowing nothing about it, but my initial thought was like if it was neck and neck, like Yelich, or I don't know how to pronounce his name, but like he must have just had he had a crazy beast season last year where it was just like there's no other option. That's our MVP. This year, if it's close, it's almost like my thinking is just going to be like, let's give it to the guy in LA, man. Like that's a huge market. If he wins, good looking dude. Like there's just so much more opportunity for a new guy to win it in LA rather than like back-to-back Yelich where what you got from him already. Milwaukee, you might have capped out everybody buying a shirt or something like that,
Yeah, that's fair. I could definitely see that.
So we covered NL, hopefully for Rodriguez. AL.
Yeah, so right now, in my opinion, I don't think it's much of a race at all. I think it's just Mike Trout. Everyone knows Mike Trout. He's won it before. He didn't win it last year. Mookie Betts won it last year.
Yeah.
But he's when you look at the numbers, just straight up the numbers, no one really compares in the AL to him.
Is he beasting like that?
He does have good numbers, but if he was in the NL, it would still be Bellinger in my mind.
Really?
And it would still be Yelich behind Bellinger.
Which is surprising too, because But it's surprising because the NL teams are they as good as the AL teams? Or
yeah, it's just you know what? I looked at the numbers too before hopping on, and it's like it surprised me. Like another guy that you kind of say has a chance at it is Alex Bregman.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Their team is loaded. They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Have the best chance to win the World Series, but at the end of the day, he's hitting like 20 points, 30 points lower than Trout.
Really?
So it's hard to make an argument.
Yeah, I was super shocked. So, all right, so there's Matt's picks. So, wait, who did you say in the NL if you had to choose?
Bellinger.
Okay, so Bellinger, NL. So you're staying LA for both of them.
Yeah.
So Bellinger, NL, Trout, and AL, and then we'll get to our next question. But something that was interesting to me is I heard Bob Costas once say when he was calling a game, he was like, what he wanted to see the most, like if he had his say in what he wanted to see in like an ideal championship situation. And he said he wanted to see Mike Trout play in the World Series. And to me, that was like, I was almost like a little shocked by that, because I guess I don't want to say I don't care about baseball enough, but like, is what Mike Trout's doing almost just like overlooked in like some LeBron type of shit, where it's just like he's so impressive in the outfield, so impressive batting that it's almost like him batting .330 or something is like, oh yeah, that's just Mike Trout.
It is, and it is really like understated how good this guy is, like once in a lifetime talent. But also you got to remember Bob Costas, he calls the World Series. So
yeah, but I don't know. It seemed genuine. Like I feel like it was even, maybe it was like a MLB TV game or something. He was calling it, but like, I don't know. I don't even think it was like an Angels game or something. I feel like he went out of his way to say that, which made me think like, wow, Mike Trout playing in a World Series, which we want to see. Like, not like I mean, like, I'm biased, but like, you don't want to see the Knicks in the NBA Finals, like, or like something ridiculous, like I don't know, someone winning, like USA winning the World Cup or something. Like Mike Trout in the World Series is really what you want to see.
Yeah, and I would say I don't know. I would have to think about what I would really want to see, but I don't think that's number one for me either.
Yeah, and you're right. I don't know exactly what the context was. Maybe it was an Angels game or something on MLB TV, and like he was just trying to like, show appreciation to Mike Trout. But like, there's just so much other stuff out there than like Mike Trout playing in the World Series. Like he was just trying to say that like his greatness in his prime in a World Series would just be amazing to watch or something like that. And I was like, okay. But, like, there's also the Astros with, like, a Bregman or something who's in his prime, and that's cool, too. I don't know. It just caught me off guard.
Yeah, and you got to realize also, yeah, while it would be cool for Trout to be in the World Series, he's also only one guy, and it's the most team-oriented major sport that you could kind of have almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's not like basketball where you could just, focus your offense around him every single second of that game.
Yeah.
He's going to get 4 at-bats.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you watch some. I've watched some epic baseball games where like guys have just taken over, and like it's almost like you don't think that they can have that big of an impact, batting 4 times or whatnot. But it's just for some reason like when they get up those 4 times, they're making a huge difference, or like they're making some cat. I remember when Carlos Beltran was on the Astros. And, like, I don't know if you remember this, but, like, he had a stretch. And I don't want to say he was using juice or whatever, but, like, he was just hitting a home run every single postseason game. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, every time he's up, he's hitting a home run. And it was just, like, amazing to see.
Those runs are fun, so.
Yeah.
And that definitely could happen with someone like Trout.
Yeah, 100%. So, I don't know. I'd be curious. Bob, you're welcome on Sports Buffet if you ever want to come on and talk about, that and clarify if that's really what you want to see as the most epic sporting event. Next question. So, thanks for those questions, Rodriguez09999. I'm just curious why you got all the 9s at the end there. Next question was from Need More Zen. I think he's a Knicks fan because his default he's got a Knicks snapback. So shout out to him for that. But his football team must be the Cowboys. He wanted to know, I guess, if and why the Cowboys are still America's team. So your thoughts on that? Are they America's team?
Yeah, the way I look at it, like Cowboys are America's football team. The Yankees probably are America's baseball team. It's just like when I remember Conor McGregor went to a game last year, his very first football game, he went to Dallas Cowboys game.
Yep.
So, and you could probably attest to this too. You always meet someone, the most random people that's just a Cowboys fan, and it doesn't matter where they're from. So I do it based on that more so than like winning. Yeah.
So I guess in that argument, I mean, not to switch sports, but the Lakers would be that team too. Like Lakers, like big market teams, and I think the Cowboys for football, they've always just withstood the test of time. Like, so whether there was a dynasty with the Steelers, the Cowboys always had their run during that era too, and it was just like, and I think their owner Jerry Jones plays a huge role in that. He's just a tycoon, he's just a multi-billionaire, and he's just a loud presence. He's just a bold face. He's always just been cutting edge, similar to how the Yankees were and why they're sort of America's team for baseball. Is George Steinbrenner was the same type of guy. And just as much as the Cowboys were America's team, it also helps when you play in Texas, which is just humongous, But like Al Davis was at with the Raiders, and if your owner is just a loud, willing to take chances guy and signing these Michael Irvins and Troy Aikmans, it also helped that they were very successful in the 90s. I just feel like now, I think they've sort of slipped away from being America's team. I just think the way with internet, the way like international markets have taken over, like a team that sticks out in my mind is like the Seattle Seahawks for some reason. And I wouldn't necessarily say they're America's team, but I would say that they're like the NFL's most popular team.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, it's a very bold statement to say, and I'm basing it off no numbers and sales or whatnot, but like, I think about like if you're selling like a golf bag, and you got a Seahawks one and you got a Cowboys one, you're gonna sell 4 times as many Seahawk golf bags than you are Cowboys bags.
I don't know, man.
Really?
Dude. I feel like maybe just because I almost look out for it at this point too, but I always see, I feel like a Cowboys decal on a truck or something, and I'm just like, oh, these fucking people. Like, they just seem like their own legion.
I guess so. And
I don't know.
But you'd still classify them as America's team?
I would.
I just feel like, so if they're in the Super Bowl, is it like some next level shit? Like,
yeah, I think so.
I tend to agree with that, but then I'm trying to think who was just in the Super Bowl, the Patriots and and the Rams. Yeah, it has some buzz around it, and could the Patriots should be America's team now.
That's fair, but
there has to be some
hated. Can you be the most hated team as well?
Yeah, I mean, America isn't liked as a country. People hate us. No, but I mean, I just feel like you have to have there has to be some success with it, you know? Like the Knicks, maybe they could have been seen as like the NBA's America's team, but they never won, you know? So it was like it's sort of the throne sort of got passed to the Lakers. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, and I agree that time may be running out for the Cowboys for that, but the Cowboys still find a way to sneak into the playoffs, which does, I think, push it back a little bit. If they just went into, like, complete irrelevancy in terms of performance on the field, then I could definitely see a change in that. Yeah.
So, all right, so to answer your question, I think I think we can safely say that we still agree that they're America's team, but they're on very thin ice.
Okay.
That throne is ready to be taken by the Patriots or like the Seahawks. It's not a given that they're America's team anymore. Like, they are, but that shit could get snatched away real quick. And to that point, and I wanted to ask you, Zeke Elliott's holding out. I'm not sold on Dak. There's a lot of question marks with the Cowboys, as there always are. I think what's their coach's name? Why am I drawing him? Jason Garrett. I think he's a good coach. I just don't think they could win with him. I think this is going to be his last season if they don't really do anything. And there's a lot of question marks for them right now.
I've thought that for years with Garrett.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't win it this year, it might be it. But Jerry's always stood behind him.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they do have higher expectations than most teams, too. There's about half the teams in the league that would have been happy with getting into the playoffs the way they do.
Yeah.
And, losing a close game the way they did,
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are quick to hate on them, and they do get buried for losing in the playoffs a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They make the playoffs, which is impressive, but they don't have great success in the playoffs. They got shafted one year against the Packers where Dez with that catch, and now they changed the rule where it would have been a touchdown. So, like, that they could have went along. Tony Romo fumbles against the Seahawks. It's just like they haven't had great luck in the playoffs. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens to them this year, because I think he might even be on the last year of his contract too, or something like that. So he could be out. But Jerry Jones needs to. I think part of the whole, and I'll close it on this, but the America's team. Jerry is older now, so he's not as loud and he's not as in front of the camera as he was in the past. So it loses a little bit of that luster, you know.
It will be interesting when he steps down, and I imagine his son is going to take over, because his son is kind of out of the spotlight for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Still has his wild ways though, so I think that could help him.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so hopefully that answers your guys' question. So like I said, DM me and just shoot me your address if you want. I'll send you a little something because we appreciate the questions. That's what we want to start doing. Hopefully not 45 minutes into our sports buffet, but going forward, if you ask a question, we'll get to it right away, answer it, and then keep things moving along. So next, I wanted to ask you, being a Lakers fan, how upset you were with Mr. Boogie Cousins' ACL injury.
I didn't take it as a loss for the team.
Really?
As weird as that sounds, he was never on. You know what I mean? I never saw him in a Lakers jersey.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't surprising, really. It was, but it wasn't. It's I didn't know what he was going to provide anyway. It's not like he didn't look. He had his moments in the finals, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, what'd you think of it? What did you think of?
So I was in the thinking how you were, I guess, I was unknown. I didn't really expect anything of him with the Lakers because one, it's the off season, so they haven't played together. I thought that he was gonna be really good. I thought he was playing injured in the finals and still was very impactful. Before he got injured in the postseason, he was just dominating dudes. I think it was Rudy Gobert or something like that he was playing against, and he just dominated him. And you remember he was looking over in the sidelines for him. I'm a big fan of his. I thought the injury sucked. I remember seeing that video of him getting off the bus with John Wall and Draymond Green in the Bahamas, and he's playing some guy in flip flops 1-on-1. Remember that? It was just recently he came out off a tour bus.
Yep.
And people were writing in the comments yo, you just came off an injury and now you're just going to be playing 1-on-1 in some flip flops. So it was just I wasn't expecting to roll through my Twitter and see DeMarcus Cousins tears his ACL, but the fact that I probably caught me on a random Tuesday was almost just oh, it almost just feels like this is him recovering from his New Orleans injury. We haven't seen him fully healthy, so the fact that we haven't seen him fully healthy and dominating almost made me just think oh, he's just been injured, so he's just gonna stay injured. It sucks for the Lakers, but yeah, to your point, I didn't know what to take away from it because it's the off season. I haven't seen him in any Lakers gear. I haven't seen him playing with LeBron and AD to be oh wow, they look great together.
It's weird that he did it practicing, I think, right?
Yeah. Did they say how it happened?
I think it was just an open gym, almost he was just working out. He was just getting ready for the season.
I always get so skeptical of those two, when you hear those baseball stories or they slip in their house or something like that. How many times have you slipped in your house and almost tore your ACL? These reports that come out make they literally are talking to us we're idiots. We're not going to sit here and be oh yeah, no, I understand. I used to walk in my kitchen and I almost slipped and tore my ACL a couple times. That's never happened to me.
Tore tendons, cutting an apple and shit.
Yeah, do you think we're that dumb? Just put what the hell happened. He was drunk on a Friday night and he was with some chick and she was trying to steal his wallet and he ran after her and fell out the front door. Make it exciting. I've gotten up from my sleep to get a drink in the refrigerator and I've never once fell down the stairs or anything. So it's
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Don't give me some tell me what happened with DeMarcus Cousins. I'm you make us more curious now because I don't think it came out that it happened in an open gym or something like that. It was just he tore his ACL.
Really? So you're okay?
I think so. Yeah, I mean I'm a big conspiracy theory guy, and who knows? It could have been that when he got off that tour bus in the Bahamas and played that guy 1-on-1 in some flip flops.
All right, so I'll give you that credit if that actually comes out like that. No, he wasn't playing basketball.
I've said this on Kyle and Corin. I don't think Trump tweets his own tweets. I think he's got a person who does his own Twitter.
Yeah.
And DeMarcus Cousins was doing some shady shit in flip flops, and that's what happened to him. He tore his ACL. But what I wanted to ask you about that was the Lakers had interest in Dwight Howard. Now, you being a Lakers fan, What'd you think about that?
It's wild, man. It's
circa like 2000. When was that when he played with Kobe? 14?
Yeah. I never liked Dwight, and
even the Orlando days, like you were never a fan of his?
You know what? Because I thought his career would mirror Shaq's the way it did, and then I just watched him. I'm like, oh, he doesn't really have an offensive game. So I've been out on Dwight for a while. I don't think it's necessary that. I mean, yeah, sure, get a center, but we also have McGee, who had a good year last year. Like, he's low-key a good player, especially for what we need, defense and rebounding, which Dwight's going to do that too. So if you want to sign him, like in 2013 or 12, whenever it was when we signed Dwight, we were signing Dwight for different reasons than we would be now.
Yeah, he'd be like a bench guy now, just come in and grab some rebounds, and not like you're not expecting him to like just be this dominant force that like takes over a game. It's like your role is just going to be rebound and be the big guy that you are. And occasionally, if one game against like the Knicks, we want to just throw you in the post and you have a 30-30 game, go for it. But like when we play the Warriors, like you're just going to be banging, grabbing rebounds, and like passing the ball out to LeBron to run up the court. You know, like we just want you for your athleticism.
That's it.
But yeah, it'd be interesting if they go through with that. Because I was a fan of old school Dwight, but like it's funny how you'll hear writers and all these experts say that like the league isn't built on centers anymore and there's no positions in the NBA, and then all of a sudden Boogie goes down and it's like the Lakers have to sign a center. It's like, what? You're just saying you could play with 5 point guards now, but all of a sudden, you know, just to build a story that you're saying the Lakers need a center, they can't contend without Boogie now?
See, I thought the same, and I think that's why my reaction to Boogie was like, okay, like slide someone down.
Exactly.
The center position doesn't matter too much, especially when you do have someone in McGee who is formidable.
Or like you say, LeBron is a center. Like, what happened? He's not a center anymore?
Right, I know. I agree with that.
And I also want to see my guy Melo get a chance too, and it's just like he's still getting overlooked. So like, LeBron's doing him dirty, man.
I would take Howard over Melo.
Really?
And I will, yeah. I would take Howard over Melo in like a heartbeat.
I'm surprised to hear that, man. Like I was talking to someone else today, and I'm surprised that like I don't know what it is about Melo. It's like and Melo said this on his interview with Stephen A. Smith, if you ask him to be like some sixth man role player, he'll do it.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
No. He can't help himself. He can't help himself. If the Lakers signed him, I would be a little worried.
And you don't think that about Dwight, though? You don't think Dwight's coming in thinking he's going to put up 30-30 every single night?
No.
You think he's fine with grabbing 12 rebounds and scoring 6 points?
I think so. At this point, yeah, I think so. I think he's a little more level-headed. He's, at this point, too, he's trying to stay a little under the limelight with everything that came out at the end of the year.
Yeah,
He's trying to chill. He'll do whatever you ask.
Yeah, I guess. When he got caught up in that whole, like, Bruce Jenner situation.
Yeah. I mean, I could see him being a team player. Because he did well
with the Wizards?
With the Wizards and the Hawks, I think, before that, right?
Charlotte. He was with them for
Charlotte. Yeah. He's been on a lot of teams.
I know. And it's just weird because I remember a time where I was like, I wanted the Knicks to sign him. And, like, he didn't really – he was decent with Charlotte, but Washington, he didn't – like, I think he didn't play, like, half the season or something like that because he had his I think it was a buttocks injury. And that's when people started questioning the whole Instagram DMs. So, yeah, have fun with Dwight Howard if he comes to your team.
I'll take him over Melo.
Okay. Okay. What are we gonna get into now? I feel like. All right, we can do a couple more topics here. Let's stay on, since I think we spoke about in the first 2 weeks. AB. I think I just read a report today that Antonio Brown, he's back at camp today. But earlier this morning, the GM had a press conference and was just like, it's either he's in or out, and they're getting really fed up with his whole situation. The latest was that he's sitting out because of his helmet. it's a lot with AB, but it made me think of the question. And you played sports a little bit more competitively. Your brother's a really good baseball pitcher. Do you ever have any crazy superstitions? So for AB, it's this helmet, and it's this. I don't know if it's a lucky helmet, but Brady played with the same helmet. He's moved on, and it's almost just like he's fine with wearing the new helmet. Is there any crazy superstitions you could think of that you've done or know anybody that's done that like sticks out in your mind? That's almost like AB's helmet that if you took it away from them, they'd cry and fuss.
I know for me it was always like I was an even number guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always, if I could, grab the number 8. If not, then it was like 12 or something. It was an even number.
Mm-hmm.
And like even with locker rooms and lockers, like I needed an even number. And I still do that. Like if I go to the gym, like I usually pick an even number.
I know people like that. My brother's wife with the car radio, it can't be on an odd number.
And the TV volume.
TV volume, yeah.
I do that. I do that still. Like it bothers me to no end for some reason. If it's on volume 27, I'll put it up to 28.
Yeah. I've
weird.
Grown past the TV volume a little bit. I sort of challenge myself to leave it on a weird number, but with my alarms, it always has to like end in a 3. So like I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but it's like 5:03.
Yeah.
It's just. And, like, if it was 5 o'clock, I feel like I'd have a bad day.
That's fair. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. So, like, I sort of feel AB on his helmet situation, but, like, I don't because it's almost just like, dude, like, just throw a different helmet on and call it a day, bro.
With that being said, if someone wanted to give me an odd number for $20 million a year,
exactly.
I love the shit out of odd numbers.
That's what I'm saying. But... yeah, no, that's an interesting point. It's like, I don't like my alarm being on 5 o'clock, but if you tell me, if I set my alarm at 5 o'clock and you give me $100 each morning, you're damn right I'm going to get used to my alarm being at 5 o'clock in the morning as opposed to 5:03. Yeah. So, like, AB, just throw the new helmet on, bro. Like, it's you're putting... your teammates are probably getting annoyed. Your coaching staff is getting annoyed. And then all that leads to is when you come to practice, coaches are going to be pissed at you. So, like, the first drop ball you make in a game is just going to be like, fuck this guy, man. We put so much, like, effort into his whole offseason, and he's dropping, he dropped one pass. Whereas, like, if you were there grinding the whole offseason and, like, just made no issue about things, they'd cut you more slack,
If he drops a pass, he needs to blame it on the helmet.
100%. That's actually a good out clause. Is the helmet?
Helmet.
Yeah. I remember when I worked for the Knicks, I had to get one time, and I wasn't like his honorary person to do this each game. But you remember Tony Douglas, the point guard?
Yeah.
He before like every big game, I think it was every big game, and I don't know what constituted a big game. Maybe it was like a national TV game or something like that, or maybe it was every game. But I had to do it for one game. He wanted like a white chocolate, like hot drink from Starbucks, and it had to be in his locker before every game. And like as I'm getting this, I'm like, yo, you're Tony Douglas. Like, you should not have any superstitions. One, you should just be like out there on the court practicing instead of like. It actually, now that I think of it, it makes sense that a guy like Tony Douglas had a superstition because like he was garbage. And he needed some like crazy luck guru thing to tell him that he'd be okay.
He probably had the best day ever one time when he went to Starbucks.
That's what I'm saying. And like, I'm trying to think if I do that with anything. Like,
but go get it yourself.
Well, yeah, no one's gonna bother you. Like, but a lot of guys, I'm sure if you ask them, like I listen to JJ Redick's podcast, and he says like. He's very meticulous about like everything he does, and it's like I think he said he tried to grow out of it, but like he's got a special routine of everything he does. And Ray Allen I think was the same way. So it's almost just like it's superstitious, but it's also like what makes somebody great. Like I'm sure Kobe had certain things that he did that if he didn't do it, he'd feel like he was off his game.
It's also like comfortability too, right?
Yeah.
Because I know. For me, I didn't even think of this as a superstition really, but I didn't like when people like put their hands in my glove at any point.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, in my mind, you were missshaping it.
100%.
Like, So I didn't love that. Like when a person put on, I didn't care if it was like a hot girl. I don't really want your hands in my gloves.
Yep. No, there was a kid that I worked with that like got a brand new like A2000 glove, and a kid came by his desk, grabbed it, and like started like, and he was like, you saw him like, yo, what are you doing? That like he felt so disrespected. It's almost like if someone, I get mad if someone like my brother wanted to wear like my sneakers, and like he's like a half size bigger than me, but it's almost like, come on, man, like my foot is shaped to it, and now it's gonna like shape to your foot. Like
he's gonna wear those shits out.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the shoe is gonna form to your foot and like get all weird. Like, don't mess with people's like shit, you know. So yeah. Damn, man, I keep flipping back and forth, like, and I sort of feel for AB now in his helmet thing. But nah, he needs to get over that. So AB, just wear the new helmet, man. You're getting paid a lot of money. Wear the new helmet. I want to ask you about the UFC card. I'm not really into UFC, but I saw this past weekend's card. I was watching the weigh-ins while I was getting a haircut. Shout out to Sports Clips. And the Diaz brother came back like after like a 3-year hiatus. And then I'm always a big fan of Daniel Cormier, I think is how you pronounce it. I haven't watched many of his fights, but I've listened to some of his interviews, and he's just well-spoken. Seems like a good dude, humble. And he's actually, like, there was a special on him. He's like a high school wrestling coach, which is just, like, amazing to me. It's just that, like, he does that. You know, like, that's really cool to me. So he lost, unfortunately, and it could potentially be his last UFC fight, but the Diaz kid won, and he wants to fight some other guy now. Did you watch the UFC thing? Were you into any of that?
Yeah. So at this point, UFC is like the second most watched sport for me.
Oh, really?
Baseball. So yeah, I watch a lot. But
this was like an all-time card, right?
This was an awesome card. Mm-hmm. Just from straight, like from the very beginning, just a lot of, you know, fun, exciting fights, some knockouts. It was a good card. Really, really good. Probably best of the year, I would say, so far. Mm-hmm. But Nate Diaz beat Anthony Pettis. Really exciting. Like, he just gave Pettis a beating. First time back in 3 years.
So what was the 3-year hiatus from? He's just like a lunatic guy, right?
He's different, and I don't think he like fully hears people out or anything. Uh-huh. And it is kind of tough to negotiate with him, and UFC with Dana White could have done a better job with him. He's a straight like street thug, you know, like that's how he grew up. It's, you know, he grew up a fighter. So,
you know where he's from?
Yeah, Stockton, California, which is bad area.
Oh, tough area.
Uh-huh. So he came back first time in 3 years, and he got on the mic after he won, and it was great the way he fought, like just dirty boxing. Like they were rolling around trying to submit each other, and he was beating the shit out of them. Really exciting though. Mm-hmm. But he got on the mic, and right away it was trending with Rogan the post-fight speech or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was saying he's crazy. He's like, yeah, I didn't fight because everyone sucks. Like, all right, well, that's not true, but okay. Thanks, Nate. And then he called out a guy, Jorge Masvidal, who's got the same kind of style, just like, you know, Jorge Masvidal grew up fighting in the Kimbo Slice backyard videos.
Oh, for real?
So, like,
which are epic. So if you have never watched the Kimbo Slice videos, I'm not even really into fighting, and I hate seeing guys get knocked out. But, I mean, Kimbo used to just go to people's barbecues and straight fight people.
Yeah. Amazing.
Epic.
Like, that was like the height of YouTube. Like
the height of YouTube, and the one video of him fighting the officer in the basement or whatever. I think the guy's name was like Tommy the cop or something like that.
In like a dojo, yeah.
In like a dojo, and like the guy put up a fight, and that video was just like it must have like 1 trillion views on like more than Baby Shark.
Yeah. But so that's where that guy came out of. So Diaz was pretty much like, listen, you're a gangster and I'm a gangster. I'm from West Coast, you're from the East, so let's fucking do this.
That's dope.
That's the next fight that's probably going to get set up.
This is the guy that did the straight knockout in like a half a second? That was him, right?
Yeah. Masvidal's the same guy who did the flying knee to Ben Askren.
which is just
6 seconds.
Gangster. I mean, like, that was just bold to do that one and just unexpected and like just like a genius UFC fight to like move to do, because I mean you typically do a little like, you know, budge of the hands or something, but just to come in guns blazing like that is like I mean it's totally fair, but like it's almost just like you'd call it just like a gangster move, you know?
Brilliant, man.
Yeah.
It really was like a brilliant move.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I hope that gets made. And then Cormier lost. I felt so bad for him because this could be his last fight, and he was up on the cards 3-0, and got knocked out in the 4th round.
Oh man, Sophie. I didn't know that.
It's weird too because like I watch all the time, but I can't say that I know it's what's going on in terms of like technicalities and shit.
Yeah.
But he was like toying with Stipe Miocic, just like drilling, like just crazy boxing skills. Like I'm like, get your hands up, man. Like he's got knockout power. Get your hands up.
Yeah.
I'm like, obviously I don't know what he's doing, but I was right there. I was like, holy shit. He literally just walked up, didn't have his hands up, and got knocked out. And his corner before that, the round before that, was like, you're not listening. Like, get your damn hands up. I was like, all right, shit, I was right. And he got knocked out. It was sad. He got interviewed at the end, was like, I'll just have to sit down and see. Like,
well, so that's what I saw. Rogan put out a tweet, and I guess he had come out before and said that he normally doesn't like doing post interviews with people that have been knocked out, but he spoke to DC afterwards, and he seemed like he was, you know, in the right state of mind. He agreed to it, and he said it could potentially be his last fight, so he didn't want him to go out without, you know, having like a word and like an opportunity to say something. But knowing that he was up 3-0, and you're saying that he didn't have his guard up and stuff like that, almost makes me think, because he won the first fight against this dude, that like there could be another card of like Diaz versus that guy, and then a trilogy of DC versus, you know, this tall dude or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, and I think DC versus Stipe is probably the only fight that can happen for DC right now.
100%, yeah, because I mean he won the first one, this guy won the second one, and like you said, I didn't know that he was up 3-0 and almost like, you know, winning the fight. So it's like I thought he just got straight knocked out, which made me think is like, damn, he's old, maybe time to hang him up. But like he could go back to his corner now and be like, yeah, I was beating this dude, you know?
He wasn't, he was refusing to wrestle with him, which is DC's go-to. Like,
why
USA champion wrestler.
Yeah.
He was refusing to wrestle with the guy. I'm like, what is going on? Like,
that's weird. You think, does it make you think that they were almost building up for a third fight? Like, is there some conspiracy shit behind it? It's like, you don't want to get knocked out, but like, if you're like smacking a dude like that, and then you're almost just like, fuck, like we're trying to make this go to a third fight so we can make some crazy bread the third, you know?
That's like, that would be crazy if that came out. Like,
has anybody spoken about that? Like, has there been any talks of that?
Because it's like DC is just too much of a true.
Yeah, he wouldn't do that.
Fighter. He's too much of a. But also, like,
I don't know, man. Money talks.
Fight. I know, it was the stupidest fight I've ever seen in my life. Like from.
That's why it's like I don't put anything past anybody anymore, because it's just like you don't know his situation, like, and they're like, yo, if you lose the second fight, you come back for the third. Like Dana White's got all these calculations on a board where it's just like, hey, if you lose, man, we can get a third fight and you get 50 mil guaranteed, you know, and like he's waxing this dude, and it's just like, fuck, that means no third fight because I'm gonna be up 2-0 on this guy. Yo, I don't know, man. I might start that Yo, I've got some good conspiracies today.
You could be 0 for 3 on all.
I could be 0 for 3 on all of them, but I could be fucking 3-0.
That's true. Now, at your weight class, whatever your weight class is, what would it take for you to get in the octagon with one of these guys? Like, how much money?
-0.0, like no shot at whatsoever.
Like, you're just pretty much saying, like, how much money would I want to get knocked out?
Yeah, and I would want 0. I would never want to get knocked out. Like, I watch these videos of people getting punched and their head banging against the floor. Like, people ask me that. No, I don't even know. I like. People have asked that. Like, there's the age-old question of like, how much money would it take to get a punch by Tyson or something like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I'm not trying to get punched. That's what I'm saying. Like, Daniel Cormier or like Nate Diaz or any of these guys punching you in the face? Are you kidding me? I don't like. This is precious cargo, man. We got to keep Corrin's World alive. Like, no, but seriously, I don't know. I honestly think I would turn down like $10,000 if someone was like, "I'll give you $10,000 right now. You just got to get punched in the face the hardest that like Chuck Liddell could punch you in the face." I would just be like, "Nah, I'm good. Like, I'm good."
No, but like money talks. Like, we're not talking 10,000, but they're talking like $250,000. 250.
I still don't think I'd like, dude. All I envision is like my head literally flying off one of these guys, like punching me in the face. Are you kidding me? Like, these guys' punches are like. I keep looking at like thinking of Joe Rogan, but he put a picture on his YouTube like talking about the cards, and it was the guy Yoel Romero or whatever his name is. There's a picture of the guy kicking him in the face, and his leg is just looks so impactful, like in his like his head is squished, and that's from a kick.
Those dudes are jacked too.
Are you kidding me? His face looked like it was like indented in, and the guy's leg looked like it had an indentation in it. It was absurd. So I would almost say that a kick could be worse than a punch. You know?
You know what's scary too? Like if I had to do my weight class, like he's 185. I'm like. That's like I'm right there. Like
it's over. I'm like 180 also. It's over. It's over.
I would cry.
You're taking $250,000 to do that?
I think about it.
Really?
$500,000 I would.
I think you'd have to get reconstruction, like face surgery afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, I would just like. I think I would just like take like. I wouldn't try to actually fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I would just like take body shots until I drop.
I would just go into the fetal position right away, get tapped out. That's why, like, my brother does jiu-jitsu, and that's, like, the biggest thing right now, and it's, like, everyone swears by it and, like, says, you know, it makes you mentally tough and challenges you and this and that. It's, like, you never know what you'll feel like at the moment you're about to tap out. It's, like, I'm good with CrossFit. Like, I get fatigued, and, like, that's it. I don't need to be, like, not able to breathe and have to tap out because, like, I can't get my last breath, you know? Like, I'm good. Like, what if I miss that moment and like and you really you get me and like I'm done, I'm dying.
Hey man, you really haven't lived until you know it's your last breath.
Well, so since you're interested in UFC, are you interested in trying jiu-jitsu or any of that stuff?
I went not jiu-jitsu. I do boxing,
so
I enjoy that. But the jiu-jitsu is crazy, man. I went to a UFC gym once, like, with a few friends.
Yeah.
And I just hopped along. Like, I didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe they would teach me some moves. And, like, okay, cool, that's it. But at the end, like, they had me, like, match up with a dude.
Yeah, not happening.
That was, like, 25 pounds heavier than me.
Yeah.
And all I did was just try to not get choked out.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, he ended up like comments at the end. He's like, man, you're like really wiggly. I'm like, dude, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I'll pass on that. Like, I've watched my brother's jiu-jitsu classes and like, I mean, like, I wrestled in like middle school, but like, I'm good with like an OD sweaty guy on me and like his like head all on my head and like I'm fine on that aspect. And then throw on top of that like he's gonna choke me out. Yeah. I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'll pass. Couple more things just to round it out, and we can get to some more of this stuff next week. But just briefly, since we're both Jets fans, Josh Gordon reinstated by the NFL. You think he makes it a full season?
Jeez. He like sabotaged him. I mean, he always sabotages himself, but I think like he just kind of was like, yo, I can't do this right now.
And it was like the week before the Super Bowl, too.
Yeah, he was like, it wasn't the league that initiated it. He was just like...
Well, I think he knew stuff was going to be coming down on him, so he sort of was like, let me bow out of this now before, like, all the shit comes out that I've been, like, smoking 42 blunts a day or something like that.
He's just like, yo, I've been down this path before.
Yeah, I know it's about to happen. Yeah. But, like, the fact that you don't realize that you're on the Patriots, Tom Brady's your quarterback, you got a really good shot at winning the Super Bowl. I get it. Weed's not that bad. Like, there's probably, like, medicinal purposes that help people, but, like, it's banned in the NFL. So, like, you really got to just put it away for the season and, like, realize that you're about to make the Super Bowl, And it almost makes me think that, like, this season, it's just, like, it's going to be hard for him not to relapse, which is sad,
Yeah, I mean, that's why you should just fight the man with it. Smoke.
Or just or just join the Big Three. It's legal in the Big Three.
Yeah. See, you get a contract, you get a sponsorship, an endorsement.
So
it'll get legalized soon enough, and
I think so. Hopefully, maybe I wanted to ask you about the Jay-Z and the NFL thing, but that's a bigger topic that we can get into next week. But maybe with him coming on board, maybe he sort of opens Goodell's mind up to that a little bit more, to be a little bit more lenient and make him realize that a lot of the guys in the league are probably smoking weed or something like that, and it helps them, rehab from injuries. So maybe there is some good with him signing on board with the NFL. Last thing I want to ask you, since we spoke about him a couple weeks ago, is that A's pitcher who was like the highlight sensation at the baseball game. He threw like a 90-mile-per-hour pitch. I was a little skeptical about it because, like, as he's running up, it's already at 10 miles per hour. And, like, you had mentioned that he was I think a decent pitcher before that. But there's a viral video, or like there's a video going around of, I guess he had his first start for the A's in some capacity of like minors or majors or whatever. Struck a dude out, and it was like a big deal that he struck the guy out. I said that you don't know what happened prior to that. Maybe he gave up a grand slam, but curious as to your thoughts on that. I know you had mentioned that he might be injury prone or something.
Yeah, he's had some injuries. I'm looking at him now. He's struck out the side, which is pretty cool.
Oh, did he?
So, yeah, he probably pitched just one inning.
Yep.
Someone who throws like that is probably a reliever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's obviously the odds are still stacked against him.
Yeah.
But like, he hasn't. I think the coolest part is still like he hasn't thrown since high school in a game, and he's 23.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and it's still impressive to like strike out. So striking out the, what is it, side, S-I-D-E?
Yeah.
That's three guys in the inning, right?
Three guys in the inning.
It's still impressive. I mean, like, these guys are professional baseball players, and like for him to, like you said, take off a big break like that, come back, and almost do some Nate Diaz shit and just strike three guys out is impressive. I mean, it's a cool story. It's one of those things where like people want to follow along. So like when he does do something like that, news outlets are going to share it. And it's cool to watch his story,
Yeah, you know what? He's going to be a reliever probably, so it's like, just throw the fastball, man. You throw 96 miles an hour, go for it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that'll be a cool story to follow along with. There was one other point I wanted to mention, but I forgot what it was. But, that would be cool to see that guy make it any type of way. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. You know how long of a journey it is when, like, I've been following Tebow, and it's just like you've seen little, highlight videos of him hitting home runs at all different levels, and he still hasn't gotten a chance to get called up by the Mets, I think last year he might have had an opportunity if he didn't get injured, but similar to this guy, just like, making his way through the minors, does Tebow have any shot of getting called up to the Mets? Maybe not now with them playing so well.
Yeah, definitely not now. I mean, he's out for the year again, too.
Is he really?
Yeah.
What's he out with now?
He sliced his thumb open.
Oh, doing something around doing some yard work or something?
Yeah, it was gardening. He doesn't drink.
Again, another injury that I'd like to hear why he sliced his thumb. It's like, oh, he was just cutting tomatoes for a salad in his house, and it's like, no one's ever cut their thumb and been out for a whole season. It's just like, I might cut my thumb, I got to put a Band-Aid on it or something. Like Tebow's doing some weird shit with his girlfriend. Is he married now?
I think he's engaged, so yeah, that counts.
Well, no, I don't. I don't know if you could count it because he's waiting till marriage, so that depends.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm just like, I'll give you any kind of advice.
So we're questioning about Tebow's injury, Boogie's injury. DC might have thrown his fight. What else? What were the other conspiracies today?
What is it? The Trump tweets.
Trump tweets, yeah.
We had that. We had one more.
There might have been one more. We'll think about it. Yeah. Anything else you got?
No. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, we hit up on a lot today.
Hit a lot.
We want to hear more questions. So, like I said, Rodrigan09999 and need more Zen. Holla at me. DM me your address if you want. I'll send you a little prize, a little something, a little tchotchke. But we appreciate the questions. Going forward, we'll start a little earlier with the questions. Get those out the way. Give you a little shout out for asking them. But Sports Buffet number 3 is in the book. Next week I'll have a new sports hat. Matt will be back. And side note, I'm going to be posting these on Monday now. Originally these were going up on Thursday, so we're going to record probably on the weekend. So we'll follow up on all the stories that happened during the week, and then boom, Monday we'll talk about it. So look for these to come out on Monday now. Don't know a time, but it'll be a Monday night something they'll come out. So yeah, that's that. Any goodbye words, Matt?
No, I think posting on Monday will work perfect for like football too. So it's
100%. Yeah. So. Yeah, definitely. We'll probably miss Monday Night Football, but we could talk about it the following week or something like that. So hopefully nobody does anything crazy on any Monday Night Football games. Monday Night Football sucks anyway.
It's usually trash.
Yeah. All right. Peace out. See you guys next week.